On today's episode of Anime Afterthought, The God of High School Episode 8, Close Friend. Holy shit, thank God it's Fun Day Monday. Once again, we are back at it, starting the week anew with God of High School. I have to say, slowly but surely they are building the world of this series, but don't let that fool you. Just because they're expanding upon the narrative, the setting, the surrounding, doesn't mean they're not gonna focus on the fights. And today, oh my god, the choreography was fucking phenomenal. That shit was butter smooth. Now, last we left off, episode 7 was almost ripped asunder. Yes, the back and forth between the battles was enough to give anyone whiplash. After the assassination of Sim Bong-sa, as well as the attempted assassination of Commissioner Q, it seems Nox is finally making their moves. But there's a lesson to be learned. Never send a grunt to do a priest job. As Q seems unscathed, he begins his counter-assault. Enter Priest Exley and Priest Saturn. You can definitely tell his opponents are of a different caliber, but luck is truly on Q's side. Taking notice that he hasn't shown up for a meeting, Commissioner O soon arrives on the scene, and now we have an all-out battle between the commissioners and Nox, each one putting on a devastating display of Charyuk, the borrowing power, seemingly the main focus of power in the God of High School universe. All the meanwhile, with this going on, there's actually another battle happening. Yes, the nationals of the God of High School tournament have begun, and it just so happens our main trio is first at bat. With a surprising defeat of Jin Mori in the first battle, it's up to the other two to take on the Charyuk powered team. Yes, going forward, it seems this new power is going to be commonplace and maybe integral moving on, with Daewee gaining victory using Azor Dragon to defeat Thor's hammer, and Mira pulling out victory in a clash of swordswomen. Seoul has won their first round. They say history tends to repeat itself, and this couldn't be more evident wrapping up last week's episode. Moving on to next round, we finally get a name to put with that teal-haired familiar face. Jigal Take, and this motherfucker is crazy, as Charyuk is summoning a giant shark, ripping the grandson of one of the six to absolute shreds. And this is where we pick up today's episode. Yes, Mujin and Jae-san can only watch from above as the divine doctor begins to operate on his grandson. The great magician begins to question the Tiger Club. Why does he not disqualify Jigal? It seems Mujin is searching for something, what he refers to as the key, and Jigal has the potential to be one. It really makes you wonder, what exactly is the key? What is it used for? Why has Mujin set his eyes on it? But before we can get any answers, we return back to the God of High School. Yes, the next round has begun. Chungcheong Namdo takes on Jiala Namdo. And while we only witnessed the aftermath of the first fight, the next scene gives us a glimpse of another familiar face. Yes, the one we saw take on Jigal before the nationals even started, comforting his teammate in defeat as well as strategizing with the next. Park Ilpyo seems like a man with a plan, but we still have one fight to go before we see him in action. Up next is this beautiful beefcake, Park Seong-ha. No, legit, this chick is fucking jacked. She is ripping on, she's got more muscles than I do. That's not saying much, but Jesus. And even though her opponent stands towering over her, she is easily able to dispatch him with a single kick to the jaw. Oof, I hate to be that guy's fucking brain right now. I bet that rattle against his fucking skull. So with the match tied 1-1, we're going into our final battle. In the final do-or-die battle of this round, we have Gwimji versus Park Ilpyo. Finally get to see this man in action, and I have to say, he does not disappoint, and neither does the choreography of this battle. We get off to a very interesting start. Gwimji is very one of the sadistical ones, sticking out his tongue, has a fucking tattoo on it. You can tell this dude's gonna lose. I will give him credit when Ilpyo lets out his aura or Charyuk power or what. Everyone can tell, and supposedly it's been frightened off. Every other opponent, just as soon as he let out this immense power, they just ran off. They gave up. This dude, he's, you know what? He's stepping up. He's staying there. So it looks like Park Ilpyo is actually gonna have to do some work, and boy, howdy does he. Goes in. Oh my god, the choreography, it's so smooth. I'm pretty sure it's 24 frames, if not 30 frames a second. Literally, you just see the hand motions of his fucking martial arts, which I believe is called Tekon. I'm gonna call it Tekon. If it's wrong, just let me know in the comments below. But my god, we get an amazing back and forth, and it looks like Park Ilpyo is winning. He's getting in the hits, and Gwimji is not really doing anything. But seeing how this is the final battle of the round in nationals, and we just learned of this Charyuk power, you know, it was inevitable before we, you know, actually saw it unleashed in today's battle. So there we go. This guy gets pushed into a corner and his Charyuk explodes. Once again, our trio is in awe. Here is this devastating power that it seems more and more people are possessing. They're like, you kind of get that feeling where Daewoo and Mira are feeling inadequate at this point. Like, oh, geez, we really need to get our hands on that fucking power. Mori is just pretty much off in La La Land, just paying himself. But like, they look at this battle and they can tell that this thing is fucking amazing. We see Parker Lipo doesn't unleash any kind of Charyuk or doesn't summon it, but he does use some kind of ability, gives him fucking super speed, easily able to pass through the Charyuk summoned, I get the giant spikes. I don't know, Jinwee's power is just these giant fucking bladed things spreading out from the fucking ground, easily able to get behind him, and once again, this fight is ended with a kick to the face. Now I'm gonna be honest, Mori really wasn't daydreaming. He was actually seemingly focused on one thing in particular, the back of Parker Lipo's hoodie. On it is a very familiar logo, what looks like a Bengal tiger. Yes, he's seen this before. It's actually the same emblem on his grandfather's military uniform. Like, okay, so maybe there's a connection between him and Taejin. Like, oh, it's getting the gears turning in his head, and it seems the only thing he can focus on right now. Now, after this amazing battle, like the choreography, like I said, was amazing, fucking butter smooth. The trio is once again walking home, contemplating the inevitable, like, Charyuk. I mean, that is what they're focusing on right now. Obviously, Daewoo and Mira's like, we gotta get our hands on that. You've seen more and more that these people are using these amazing powers, and if we want to progress through the God of High School tournament, like, we need to get our hands on that shit. We need some of the good, and Mori's not having it. Mori doesn't want to rely on someone else's power, and you gotta admire that, especially when you find out the reason why he wants to get stronger. Yes, they're finally expanding upon his character, but before we get to that, Mori breaks off, and once again, he's in this contemplation because he has something else on his mind. My God, they are putting Mori through the fucking ringer today. It seems like Mujin has finally broke the news to Mori. The aftermath of Nox versus Taejin, and the landscape's devastated, and there's piles of blood everywhere, and it just so happens that one big one happens to be Taejin's, and we already know he lost a fucking arm. Mori is putting on a brave front. It's like, hey, you know my grandfather. If you really think he's dead, you're just kidding yourself. I feel sorry for his fucking opponent. You really get that, what was it, season 3 or 4 premiere of Rick and Morty? Like, it's like one of my favorite lines in the series. Like, if you think my Rick is dead, he's alive. And if you think you're safe, he's coming for you. It's one of those like awe-inspiring moments where you see the character has like this uncompromising faith in another character, but in the back of his mind, it looks like he's actually conflicted as we see him sit on a park bench and just wonder, Jesus, is grandfather okay? Now, before too long though, his train of thought is interrupted. Once again, we get Parker Lipo, and he seems enamored with Mori. Like, hey, I wanted to meet you. I've watched you in the Soul Preliminaries. Like, you were awesome. Let me go ahead and shake your hand. And once again, Mori gets tricked into a fucking trap and begins fighting. And once again, we're getting this awesome choreography, so butter smooth. We get another glimpse of Parker Lipo's tech-on martial arts, and it's funny, the crowd in the previous fight said it was such like an antiquated, like fucking, it's just useless, but this motherfucker's put into work. He actually gets in a draw after a little bit of back and forth with Mori, fist to the forehead, shoot to the back of the head. Like, it's seemingly a draw, but it's actually perfect timing. Like, hey, I've been curious about your emblem. So Mori's like, hey, let me ask you about that. He goes, oh, it's because, you know, I want to honor Taejin. Oh, so you do have a connection, and this is where we get an awesome flashback. Now, they kind of really go fast on Parker Lipo's actual train of thought. Does he really only have a couple memories? Like, the first one is the death of his father. It looks like he died quite early. Maybe that plays into the story further on, I don't know. He is sent off, basically kind of abandoned by his mother at, it'd be his great uncle, I believe, the martial arts training establishment. It's a dojo. He's left there, and he's basically treated like shit, like seeing no potential in him whatsoever. Like the uncle, I think it was uncle or great uncle, or anyways, whoever's training him's like, whatever, fuck you, I'm walking away. Like, honestly, if you're gonna have 3 fucking memories, 2 of these are pretty fucking shitty, but the third one is very interesting. The down and out Ilpyo is instantly surprised when a man comes out of nowhere, straddling a fucking baby in one of those, what is it, like a fucking baby papoose? I don't fucking have kids, I don't fucking know. Which is a young Mori, by the way. We actually see that these two have a connection. Like, they fucking met before. This baby Mori, get that trending, hashtag baby Mori. Yeah, it turns out that actually Taejin knows Ilpyo's grandfather. He's like, hey, we were actually, you know, in the same squadron. Me and him saved the fucking world when everyone thought his martial arts was lame. Like, he wrote secret, like this whole secret manual. I was supposed to pass it to your father, but I'm sorry, I was too late. And since your grandfather and I were such close friends. You have to have this book. And it looks like maybe this is where Parker Ilpyo gets a lot of his tech on, like techniques and shit. I mean, this obviously can, from what the crowd said, is not your typical this version of that martial arts. Like, it's the next step up. And I love that continuity. Like I said, they're expanding upon these characters, and I fucking love that. But right in the middle of the conversation, once again, it is interrupted. We see one of these teeth get summoned. Mori doesn't even fucking react. His eyes grow big. That's about it. Like, he has no time to react, but it looks like Ilpyo came to save the day. Otherwise, he would have got a fucking Jagal summoned tooth right in the back of the fucking head. This pisses Parker Ilpyo off to the point where he's like, dude, you and me got history. I know that, but keep others fucking out of it. We do see a little flashback that they do indeed know each other, and it's not very good. We just see Ilpyo beating the shit out of him, like on the ground, just wailing at his fucking face. But you know what? That sends him off smirking, so we know this shit is not over with. But it seems the conversation is, as Ilpyo takes his exit, Mori is once again left to contemplate his current predicament pertaining to his skills, his strength, and overall battle prowess. I mean, he literally wasn't able to react, so it's like, fuck, man, you're stuck in this place. Like, you want to get stronger, and everyone else seems to be at that next fucking level. Once again, before we get to the reason why we have to cut back to the commissioners, now we know that Q and O have been through quite an ordeal. They took on the priests, a lot of shit happened, some monks all fucking died, and apparently no one told Q that his wife and child are actually alive. He assumed that the commissioners, in particularly Mujin, just let Nox murder them. So he busts into the office, demanding shit, grabs by the collar. We see Mujin unleash, fucking god hand type shit. Later, it's revealed by P that it was actually her Charyuk ability. She manifested basically a marionette, took on the illusion of the wife and child. They're actually safe, hidden away. If you just would have listened to me, you would have been not docked another 3 months of pay. So now it's 9 months without pay to pay for everything he's fucked up so far. Yeah, you kind of feel bad for Q at this point, like, but then you have to think, like, he's actually doing this to himself. Like, you got pissed off, you couldn't control yourself twice, 3 times. Like, dude, take a chill pill, step back, think about what the fuck's going on. So now that he has to scrape money, we see he literally looking for change under vending machines, and it just so happens that he runs into Daewee. It's Daewee's witnessing this, and it looks like the two are gonna, arrange a little deal, or at least try to. Daewee is not a boastful man. It looks like he's pretty down to earth. He realizes that, you know what, even if Mori is against it, like, I personally see myself, I need the Charyuk. I need this ability, not just to become stronger or just to win the God of High School tournament. It's more like, I don't want to be a weight attached to Mori's ankles. Like, I want to be able to fight, next to him, not, let him down. I'll make you a deal. You teach me or train me how to use Charyuk, and I'll make you dinner. For a guy who's not going to receive pay for the next 9 months and was just scraping change underneath a fucking vending machine, you gotta take him up on that fucking offer. But I'm super excited. Like, this whole interaction leads me to wonder, what the fuck is Charyuk training actually gonna pertain to? Like, what's it gonna be? Like, how do you train in the borrowing power? Like, it's one of those things, like I said, gears are turning. Now, just because he seems at odds with the other commissioners, specifically Mujin at this point, he's still a commissioner. He's part of the God of High School, and it seems they're getting a call to action. Mujin has summoned them, and he is laying out what the fuck's going on. It looks like Nox is making their move. Their attempt is to disrupt this God of High School. We cannot let that happen. We know from earlier he's looking for the key, and he does put in one sentence that makes you wonder, really makes you think. I don't know if it's the end-all be-all reason of the tournament or what the key has to do with it, but it looks like his goal is to bring down God. So yeah, it looks like the commissioners want to find the key to bring down God, while Nox wants to bring down them so they destroy the key and God is safe. Like, you can tell that these two factions are on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. So you could tell that shit's getting intense. I mean, he even tells the commissioners, like, hey, limiters, you have permission to remove them. Use 110% force. You see a Nox, fucking destroy them. Like, meanwhile, like I said, Nox, the leader, is going like, dude, you gotta do the same to fucking them. Like, so literally it is an all-out war between the commissioners and Nox, and it seems to all be centered around finding the key and either saving or bringing down God. Like, Shit. Like I said, man, this shit's getting pretty fucking intense. All the meanwhile, fucking, we see once again that Mori is conflicted. He's out there training. He's just like fucking like that old Footloose montage where he's just like, oh, letting out all his angst and shit. You see him doing random kicks in the air. He knows he's not powerful. I mean, he didn't even see that fucking move from Jagal coming. Like, but he also doesn't want to rely on someone else's power. And we finally see that in the next scene. There's a reason. There's a reason why he wants to be strong. And there's also a reason why Taejin is not with him. Well, it seems Taejin is a well-known figure. It seems good and bad people know of him, and there seems to be people after him. And to make sure that his grandson is safe, he has to leave. And Mori's like, no, stay. I'm strong enough. I can beat them. He goes, no, you're not. You're not strong enough. So we know the reason why is he has to get stronger, so when these people inevitably come, these evildoers, the ones that would hurt Mori and Taejin, he could take them out. And it's one of these really fucking emotional moments as we see like this young Mori just devastated that his grandfather's leaving because Mori's not strong enough. And it looks like Mori is even like, you know what, if I use someone else's power, that's not my own strength. That's a cop-out. So we see like two different sides of it, like from both Mori and Daewi's perspective. It's very intriguing seeing both of them. But yeah, I gotta say, I got a little fucking emotional when I saw Peepaw have to leave little baby Mori, and Mori's like, oh, I just want one thing before you leave. He goes, anything, I'll give you any present you want. And we just see that's where he got that fucking sad photo. That's what's left him. So, you know, the sooner he gets stronger, the sooner Peepaw can come home. Like, and although right now Mori is moping, it's even doubled by the fact that right now he's alone and it's his fucking birthday. We see he's turning 17 today. So all this shit is happening on his fucking birthday. Like, my God, happy fucking birthday. But luckily, the number one thing that Taejin told him to do was, you know, make friends. Go out there and make fucking friends. And he does have friends. Daewi and Mira show up, shocked and dismayed that they actually know what day of his birthday was, but it turns out they actually got little messages on their wrist devices. Like, I wonder if that was pre-programmed or someone's like trying to nudge, wink, how do you do? But whatever the means, they're there and it's time to celebrate. Now Mira's cooking, such a typical anime trope that it's beyond disgusting looking, and she's sitting back and like wanting him to taste it. It's like they threw it in there. Like, it's nice. It's a nice little trope to fall back on. Another one is that the dude is somehow a master fucking chef, but all in the end, Mira's right. It's all on how it tastes. And I guess the lesson learned for this meal is you snooze, you lose, as we see Daewi is just like nodding off, like trying to eloquently fix Mira's recipe, and by the time he looks down after one bite, everything's fucking gone. Like, seriously, dude, you might be an amazing chef, but I mean, come on, keep it in your pocket for now, right? It's time to relax, have fun, you know, eat a nice little piece of cake, play with a giant fucking ball. Like, talk about a 180 when it comes to emotional things. Like, we just saw that the devastating reason why Taejin had to abandon Mori basically is because a lot of people are after Peepaw, and Peepaw doesn't want you to get hurt, and the reason I can't come home is you're not strong enough to defend yourself. And this is all inside Mori's mind. And we have the birthday dinner. It's just it's a nice sense of, you know, brevity. This emotional weight has been lifted. Mori is able to celebrate his birthday with his friends. We even see them once again reestablishing they want to fight each other. Like, oh, I'm gonna beat your ass. No, I'm gonna fucking win. Like, oh, that's gonna be fucking awesome. It's a really good friendship. But unfortunately, rounding out today's episode, we get some pretty harrowing news, and it looks like whether he is ready to or not to take on these amazing people with this borrowing ability to get powers from demons and gods and legendary heroes and sacred beasts and all the like. I got a feeling that we're gonna have to roll out. We're gonna have to stomp a crud hole in Nox's mud hole, because a letter is left at his doorstep with a map detailing a location and a picture of Taejin chained up, bleeding, with a goddamn missing arm. Dude, if you do not roll out, I will be sad. Like, if you just go to the fucking next round of this shit, like, oh, don't worry, the commissioner, no. I mean, it's gotta be narratively him, but also just character-wise, I don't see Mori taking a back seat to this. We saw him interrupt the fight with Mansock early on. We saw him interrupt Mira's fucking stupid-ass shit fucking wedding. You can see how much I fucking hated that wedding type episode. Like, he's not one to fucking stay back. Yeah, he'll let Daewi step in, a nice little interruption of Jagal's fight. But yeah, I mean, he had trust in Daewi to do it. If Daewi wouldn't have done it, he would have done it. Like, he's not scared to step in and do what's right when it comes down to it. So I cannot see my main man taking a back seat when it comes to Peepaw. So Next episode, I hope we roll out. I hope we fucking go in force. Are we gonna get a fucking reunion? I don't know. I don't fucking know, but am I excited. Overall, today's episode was fucking amazing. Like I said, Parker Lipo's martial arts choreography was fucking amazing. That shit was slick. It was butter smooth. My God, that thing looked fucking like 30 frames a second. Fucking loved it. Not to mention the continuity, the actual relationship between Taejin, Ilpyo, and Mori. Like, seeing how they've all actually met before. Like, those two are actually connected, but then baby Mori met fucking Kid Ilpyo. Like, I also love that they're developing Mori more. It's not just this gung-ho character that loves to fucking fight. There's a fucking reason to it. He's gotta get stronger. He wants Taejin to come home, but then at the same time, like, he's got this weight on his shoulder of knowing that Grandpa's in trouble, like, but he's super strong, so I feel, and then he sees the actual evidence of him in trouble, like, everything is just compounding onto Mori, and it's just, my God. Not to mention being alone on your fucking birthday and then having that 180 when your friends fucking show up to throw you a fucking surprise party. Shit was good. Shit was good. Gotta say though, they, like I said, they're slowly unraveling every like thing that pertained to the god of high school. I'm glad we know now what it is, but also why it's happening, what their goal is. Each faction is looking for the key, one to save God and one to bring him down. So yeah. Where we go from here, I don't know. Like I said, fuckers gotta roll out. Fuckers gotta roll out. We gotta go heavy-handed and take on Nox. I'm assuming is holding Peepaw. So yeah, let's fucking do it. Fucking do it. So with all that being said, and more, Fun Day Monday coming around the corner with some more God of High School, I honestly cannot wait for future episodes.